Alrighty, we got a medium shot right here, and this is gonna be a video essay for you guys. And this one's a little bit more on just general topics and basically just an overview of a series I started. Now this is the fourth and fifth, and basically the final of that video essay. Now, what I'm going to be discussing in this is going to be kind of the stuff that you build when you're growing something or trying to grow something. Now, starting off with that, I have a lot of ideas for my situation. Now, for me, I'll disclose like what I want to do, which is like kind of work on computers and maintain them. But for you, it could be something completely different. Now, I don't want anyone to get discouraged by their journey, and everyone has a different journey. So, this video essay is going to kind of be dedicated to people that want to start something but don't know where to get started. And that's going to be kind of where I start off is, when you're starting out, as a lot of people have said, you kind of have to be the, skipping meals or stuff like that. And I don't always preach that, but it kind of seems that, what you put your investment in is what you're going to get out of it. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying like skip meals, go, homeless or go anything like that. What I'm saying is you kind of have to find your dedication in it and go from there, because your way of getting something off the ground might be completely different than what someone other does. And basically, if you are, I'll use YouTube for instance. If you're trying to make a YouTube channel, and you are hitting a wall or you're not meeting your goals, I would say, maybe start some side channels and, do that. For me, I started out, very small with just a laptop, and I was happy with that, and I worked on it for a while. And then I got a desktop, and then I got another laptop. And, now I just kind of build PCs for fun. But for you, it could be, if you are a YouTuber, you started one channel, maybe just get another channel to work on that while your other channel isn't, seeing as much success. Or you could be an athlete and you could be in a dry spell and you just need, some motivation to get to that next level. And, there's tons of different fields or professions that you could really do. And, there might be a lot of late nights. There might be a lot of sacrifice and stuff that you miss out with people. And, they might not understand, but at least at the end of the day, you can say that you put in the work and, you weren't making excuses for it. So if you've got the time, dedicated to it, and, you've got to be your best advocate, because at the end of the day, uh, say you want to be an Olympian and, you don't, train 5 days or 6 days a week, you're just, sitting around. I mean, you're not going to make it to the level that you need to. And if you want to be an engineer, you're going to have to study more than the next person beside you. So, just remember what your goals are and don't compare yourself to other people. That's really where a lot of people fall short is, your goals to obtain are going to be different than someone else's goals. And if you don't achieve your goals, maybe reassess and just go back and write it down and see how it looks to you. There's different ways to approach it. If you're trying to get a degree, you could go to, maybe a 2 year and then go 4, or go 2 and then get in a transfer program and then go 4. So, don't think, you have to go so linearly. Sometimes it's good to be linear, but sometimes it's good to, take your own steps and just remember that, if you lose sight of what really made you, passionate or, want to drive for something, that's where you're gonna, you need to have that if you really want to make it there. And basically, the video essay is on if you have something that is tangible and you can't get it, you have to find something that is going to work for you to find it. And basically, you know, I'll use YouTube for an example because I've seen a lot of people trying to obtain the, the golden number or something like that. And, YouTube didn't used to be like that. It used to be just like a fun platform where people just made silly videos and, you know, just kind of had fun. But it now seems like once the monetization came in, kind of lost a part of itself. And, the media takeover of YouTube and social media taking over it. And, it used to just be a sole platform where, you weren't advertising every other platform or social media on the platform. It was just videos. And, I'm not saying it hasn't, become a, different beast, but I think now with the monetization, it is somewhat different. But with that, you got to take everything in a process. And I think that really what it comes down to is, if your process, you need to write it down and get it down and basically, follow it. Because if you're not willing to follow the process, you might get lost on the way. So yeah, that's basically going to be it for the video essay. Hope anyone who is trying to follow something, make your own way and just be yourself out there. So hope you enjoyed the ride, and that's me out. Peace.